I'm Dean, I'm the dad.
I'm Laura, I'm the mom.
And I'm Crystalline, I'm the daughter.
And together we are Family Plot. Whew, okay, that was nice. That worked out. Welcome to the show. Hi, Krista. Hi, Laura. How you doing, you wonderful people, you?
Doing all right.
Doing good.
Good. Okay, a few things we got to get out of the way before we can kick off the show. First of all, we were obliged to create a new Patreon. Basically, I guess they changed some rules, so they shut us down for a minute. I rebooted us, so some changes have been made. No longer are there 3 teams, because I don't think you can do that on Patreon anymore. The new site I've only set up right now for $1 and $3 donations, because that's what Patreon recommended for now. They said wait until your fan base grows, so we're going to wait till we have more people on our Patreon to do higher amounts. Anyway, so, yep, our new Patreon is just the Family Plot Podcast Patreon. So feel free to stop by and help us out with a $1 or $3 monthly donation if you can. We greatly appreciate it. But just like always, you know, all that money really goes the same place. Feed the bunny.
Pay the electric bill.
Exactly. So, anyway, also, you can help us out with a one-time donation through Buy Me a Coffee, any whole dollar amount, I believe. Also, if you enjoy the show, share it.
Most importantly.
Yes. If you enjoy the show, please share it on social media. If you don't enjoy the show, keep it to yourself.
Yep.
So, what are we talking about tonight? Well, on May 15th, 1927, which I have to point out, May 15th is between Lexi's birthday of May 9th and Krista's birthday of May 27th.
Hello.
But on May 15th, 1927, what would come to be known as the longest continuously running hotel in Los Angeles would open its doors. Created by a conglomerate of some of the most famous people in Hollywood at the time, and named after a popular president, this hotel has become iconic for its appearance in TV and movies, as well as for some of the guests that still make their appearance inside. Tonight, we visit the historic Roosevelt Hotel in this glitzy paranormal episode of the Family Plot Podcast.
Woo! But first, before we get into that, Krista has a corner.
It's not just any corner, it's Krista's corner.
Hi, Krista. What's going on in your corner?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the corner. I am Krista. I am your corner hole host. Today...
For a minute there, I thought you were going to use a different word than host, and I was going to have to bleep you out.
No!
I'm just saying, that's what it sounded, where it sounded like you were heading for a second. But host, I like. Host is good.
Krista would do something like that, Daddy. All right, so what's going on in the corner this weekend? Or this week?
This week, we have a frog. We have a merfrog. Its name is Mystic.
Wait, aren't all frogs merfrogs?
Yes, but this frog specifically has a mermaid tail, therefore it is a merfrog.
It is a merfrog.
Okay.
It's got a fishy tail. It looks like a rainbow fish. I loved the rainbow fish as a kid.
Okay.
But yes, this has become my new buddy. It's my new buddy in this corner.
Yay! Krista has a buddy in her corner.
Yay! A merfrog buddy.
Merfrog buddy.
A frog that hasn't finished being a tadpole.
Sure.
We'll go with that. But I would also like to talk about something that I'm watching this week.
Sure.
Cool. More miraculous ladybugs?
No, I finished that.
Oh, okay. Well, what are you watching this week?
Well, it's not a series this week, but it is a movie. It's a newer movie.
Ooh, are you watching Resident Evil? Welcome to Raccoon City?
No.
Oh, I like that movie. It's not my favorite, but I like it.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching that movie. I'm watching the new movie, Nimona.
Moana isn't new.
Nimona.
Pneumonia?
No.
I'm confused. Are you hearing the same thing I'm hearing?
I don't think so.
Nimona.
Nimona. Okay. All right. Nimona. I was confused. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's a new movie on Netflix.
Wow. It's a Netflix movie. So is it good?
Yes, it is. It's written by the same people who made or wrote Big Hero 6.
Ah.
So it's, for me, it's pretty much bound to be good because that was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Okay.
But I love the main characters. I love both Battlestar and Nimona.
Cool.
Nimona is creature coded, but she's also sad. So
I see. Like a foxfish?
no, not the koi fox. Don't bring the koi fox.
Alright.
So is that... Wait. So a foxfish isn't sad?
Mine isn't.
Sorry, I just had visions of your drink hitting my computer and this episode ending abruptly in a fizz and a splash.
Which would be bad.
Which
Yes.
would be bad.
Yes, it would. And you would probably be very mad at me.
No, I saw it, so I moved things. It's okay.
No, if it ended in a fizz and a splash, you would probably be very upset with me.
I'd be upset, but not with you. Things happen. Things happen, my Krista.
Blah.
Well, that is awesome that you found a new movie that you're interested in and you have a new merfrog.
I love my new Merfrog.
So you're having a pretty good week.
I am. I got like a whole package of Starbursts at the gas station today, along with a Monster and Monster teeth. So
Very nice. So yes, you're
I've got energy.
good.
I've got energies.
Cool.
All right.
I've also made butterflies to put on my wall.
Excellent.
Wait, there's butterflies on your wall?
Yes.
Cool.
I have a bunch of butterflies on my wall in my room.
Awesome.
The decorations in my room are very pretty.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, they are, but, you know, that's you and your brother, Demix.
Creativity.
Yeah. Well, you're very creative, Chris. It's one thing I've always loved about you, is how creative you are.
That is true.
Wow.
Is there anything else going on in your corner this week, Krista?
No, I think I have plenty of time to talk in this episode today.
Okay.
Yeah. You got the best part, but it's okay. All right. Wait. Wow. There was applause for Krista.
Wow. There was applause for Krista and Mystic.
Very nice.
So, let's talk the hotel's origin. In 1926, 1926 was part of the time that became known as the Golden Age of Los Angeles architecture. And it was in 1926 that construction began on the historic Roosevelt Hotel. It was financed by some well-known Hollywood legends, including Sid Grauman, builder and owner of both Grauman's Egyptian Theater and Grauman's Chinese Theater, which is right across Hollywood Boulevard from the Roosevelt and is now known as the TCL Chinese Theater. Another person was Louis B. Mayer, who co-founder of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios, better known as MGM, one of the most famous producers in Hollywood at that time. Also, Mary Pickford, actress, screenwriter, producer, and studio founder, whose career in Hollywood spanned 5 decades, and she may become a future subject of the podcast, Girl Power.
Mary Pickford did quite a bit, so that's actually not a bad idea.
And Douglas Fairbanks Sr., an actor famous for silent action films like The Thief of Baghdad, Robin Hood, and Mark of Zorro. It was built for $2.5 million, which is the equivalent to over $40 million today.
You know, just you know, nothing too ostentatious.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was. That was the thing. It was the point of it. It was supposed to be ostentatious. It was the birth of Hollywood, so it was very much a Hollywood elite hotel. And
I mean, that makes sense with those big names, you know, backing it. So. Right.
And I mean, like Grauman at the time, his name was good for really anything he wanted to put it on.
Sure.
Louis B. Mayer, again, also the same. Mm-hmm. Mary Pickford, well, we talked about her. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Douglas Fairbanks Sr., which something else about him, but before he got into silent action films, he mostly did comedies. I never knew that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so when you've got you've got people of this caliber putting together, you know, finances for a hotel, it's going to be a big deal.
It's going to be pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Sure. So initially, the hotel was an opulent destination for stars, starlets, Hollywood elites, and the well-to-do. The hotel began to go into something of a decline in the 1950s, and it was around this time that one of the owners removed the hotel's signature archways, covered up its elaborate ceilings, and painted the interior seafoam green.
I think seafoam green is actually a really pretty color.
I like the color seafoam green, but for a hotel, especially like an opulent hotel, I don't know that makes sense.
I prefer sage green though.
Well, sure. So the hotel limped along as a business class hotel, but it had none of its former glory. In 1985, the Radisson Hotel Group purchased the hotel. The year before a young future podcaster would graduate high school. You?
Yeah. Yeah.
And embarked on a $35 million renovation, restoring much of its Spanish colonial architecture, as well as the lobby's coffered ceilings and a 3-tiered fountain. English artist famed for his contributions to the pop art movement, David Hockney, painted the $1 million mural on the bottom of the Tropicana pool in 1987. On August 13th, 1991, the city of Los Angeles declared the hotel a Los Angeles Historic Cultural Monument. In 1995, Goodwin Gaw, a Hong Kong property investor, bought the hotel from the Clarion Group, and later David Chang became a co-owner. Since then, the hotel has had a couple of renovations and even formed its own management company, as well as being inducted into the National Trust of Historic Preservation's Historic Hotels of America.
Fine place. Actually, going back to the Seafoam Green, I specifically wrote a 2-word sentence in there, which was which, yuck. Because, I've been in the Roosevelt, and it's not Seafoam Green anymore. It's beautiful. I love that place. Like, I just sat in the lobby, and it was gorgeous. And you can almost feel the history around you. And then you've seen the pool because I made it. You both have, because I've made a point of showing you both that picture of the bottom of the Tropicana pool.
Yeah, that expensive art.
Yes, and it is very pretty. I don't know that it's.
Yeah, I don't know that it's worth as much as they're saying, but
it is pretty.
Well, it's because David Hockney did it, and he was a big deal in the pop art movement.
Right.
And it is definitely, which pop art is what Andy Warhol used to do, I think. Yes. So it's like an English Andy Warhol painted the bottom of your pool. It's going to cost a little more than, Joe the painter doing it.
Yeah, sure.
And but yeah, now I've not seen the Tropicana pool. I didn't go that far in. I was there with my friend Dante, the comedian, and he's like, hey, let's go in here because we were on the Walk of Fame, which is really where the hotel sits. I mean, it's right across from Grauman's, and so the Hollywood Walk of Fame is just right out his front door. And so I was looking at all the stars with the Hollywood names on them and stuff. And he's like, let's go in here. And I sat down. And I mean, like I said, you go in there, you can feel the history of the place. And something else, it was made around the same time as the Hotel Cecil. And the Hotel Cecil, they took very different paths.
Right.
They took very different paths. So, yeah.
You know what we should do now, though?
Wait, what should we do?
We should get a word from our sponsor.
Get a word from our sponsors.
That's what you should do. You're probably right.
Yep. Hey, babe.
Yes, dear.
I feel sponsored.
I also feel sponsored.
Yay!
So, Chris.
Well,
now that we feel sponsored, what do you got for us?
we feel sponsored, let's go back to the show. The hotel is located on Hollywood Boulevard along the Hollywood Walk of Fame across from what used to be the Grauman's Chinese Theater. The building's architects, Fisher Lake and Traver.
I thought it was Traver. I'm not sure.
Traver. Either way, sorry if I butchered it.
You're fine.
Traver also designed the Wilshire building. Wilshire building.
It's probably pronounced Wilshire, like the street in Los Angeles.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's okay. You did fine.
Wilshire. Either way. Wilshire building in Long Beach, California, and the Westward Hotel?
Yep.
Westward Ho Hotel.
Westward Ho Hotel in Phoenix. The hotel has 300 guest rooms and is 12 stories tall. So much bigger than the 60-some-odd room hotel that Dad worked at. Among those rooms are 63 suites. One of the suites is the penthouse suite, known as Gable Lombard Penthouse. It is 3,200 square foot, 2-story duplex with a balcony with views of the Hollywood Hills and the Hollywood sign. It is named for Caroline Lombard and Clark Gable, who used to rent the room for $5 a night. Carol Lombard and Clark Gable are an actress and actor who would be well known to some of our listeners.
Yes.
The Marilyn Monroe room is named after actress Marilyn Monroe, excuse me, who lived at the hotel for 2 years early in her career.
Wow.
Hold on, I need a sip. It's so interesting to know that Marilyn Monroe actually lived there for a little while.
Yeah.
The hotel also has vintage 1950s style poolside
Cabanas.
cabanas. Okay.
That's those little tents up along the pool.
Yeah. The hotel also has several restaurants, bars, and lounges. 25 Degrees is a hamburger restaurant just off the hotel's lobby, while the public kitchen and bar is American-style food served in an old Hollywood-style dining room. Both restaurants are run by Tim Goodell, the head chef. Bars on site include the spare room, a gaming parlor and bar, the library bar, and a bar featuring locally sourced ingredients, and the Tropicana bar near the pool. Hollywood producer Jeff Beecher owns and runs Beecher's Madhouse in Vaudeville?
Vaudeville. Yeah.
Vaudeville. Inspired theater in the Roosevelt. Also at one time was home to Teddy's, a popular nightclub. A nightclub popular with celebrities, which closed in 2017.
Now, I will stop you there because I know it still shows like red, like it should be yours, but I don't know why, because yours should have ended after Teddy's. And yeah, I find it kind of cool that their nightclub was named also after Teddy Roosevelt, who the hotel is named after.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's talk about it being an iconic location, because it certainly is. The Roosevelt Hotel is an iconic location, as I said, that has been featured in lots of movies, TV shows, and other events. The first Academy Awards was held there in the Blossom Ballroom, hosted by Douglas Fairbanks Sr. That's what happens when you have the leading action star in Hollywood owning your hotel at the time.
Sure. Yeah, like you do.
In 1986, Academy Award winner Lyle Wheeler sold boxes full of his possessions, including his 5 Academy Awards. 3 years later, William Kaiser, who purchased his award for Best Art Direction for The Diary of Anne Frank, returned the award to Wheeler in a special ceremony held at the Roosevelt Hotel.
Aw, that's kind of nice.
Yeah. The hotel has hosted the Golden Raspberry Awards, which celebrate the worst in films, multiple times over the years. The hotel has appeared in TV shows, including I Love Lucy, The People versus O.J. Simpson, an American crime anthology, which I think was on FX or maybe Fox. Knots Landing, which those of you who lived through the 80s might remember. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Moonlighting, Lucifer, and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have all used the location.
Cool.
It has also appeared in the films Sunset, The Fabulous Baker Boys, Internal Affairs with Richard Gere, Beverly Hills Cop 2 with Eddie Murphy, and Catch Me If You Can with Tom...
Catch Me If You Can. Catch Me If You Can. Wasn't that Leonardo DiCaprio film?
It was Leonardo DiCaprio, but it was also Tom. He played Sully.
I thought you were going to say Tom Hanks. I don't know why.
Yes, Tom Hanks. Actually, that's who I was looking for. Is Tom Hanks, because he played the cop that was trying to catch
Okay.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay.
Which I know people love that movie, but I can't stand Leonardo DiCaprio. I can't. The only movie I've even kind of liked him in was Django Unchained. And that's just because he dies.
Oh. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you hadn't seen Django Unchained in the several years since it's been out,
Just don't get attached.
Yeah, don't get attached to Leonardo DiCaprio's character. So, that takes it to you, I believe, my dear.
Some of the famous guests that stayed, in addition to Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable, and Carole Lombard, the Roosevelt has played temporary home to Montgomery Clift, who stayed at the hotel while filming From Here to Eternity. Actress Frances Farmer was honored at a party there in 1958. According to some sources, actor and action film star Errol Flynn created his recipe for bathtub gin in the tub at the hotel barbershop. Shirley Temple learned to do her famous stair-step dance routine on the hotel stairs. Actress Elizabeth Patterson, most well known for playing Ms. Trumbull on the I Love Lucy show, stayed at the hotel, as did Charlie Chaplin, H.G. Wells, Max Baer Sr., Jethro from the Beverly Hillbillies, Mary Martin, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, Mike Posner, Prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince.
No, he became Prince again before he passed away.
Oh, okay. Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and most important of all, really, Josh Gates.
Man crush.
What? He has. Do you want me to...
But I don't know that he trumps everybody else that we said, but okay.
He does because he's his man
He does
crush.
because he's Dad's man.
He's Dad's
You're
man
right.
crush,
You're
Mama.
So...
Chris, back to you.
Back to me.
But before
Wait a minute. Sorry. I'm sorry. You had something to say. Go ahead.
Yes. I mean, I did write some of this, so I might...
You did.
I might have. One, I just like that a lot of writers have stayed there. F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, H.G. Wells, which I did not know, which is kind of funny because there's a movie with Malcolm McDowell where he plays H.G. Wells in a modern future in California. So I think that's kind of funny. And if I remember right, the Roosevelt, you see the Roosevelt in that movie, but it's been so long since I've seen it, I could be wrong. But yeah, so clearly this was a place where the Hollywood elite hung out and have off and on throughout all time. And again, compare that to the Hotel Cecil, where it was built to be this opulent business class hotel, and by the 1980s, it was already well on its way to being slum central. And I guess maybe that's a bad way to put it, but yeah.
Maybe not the nicest way, but definitely honest.
Yeah. And then I just like the thing about like Errol Flynn creating his recipe for bathtub gin in the hotel barbershop. I don't know if it's true, but it seems like the sort of thing Errol Flynn would do. Errol had sort of a reputation attached to him. And that's the sort of thing that was part of his reputation. Also, Max Baer Sr. played Jethro from the Beverly Hillbillies. I didn't mean to imply. I didn't realize the way I wrote it, it sounded like they were two separate people.
Gotcha.
So when you read it, I was like, ooh, wait, that seems like that. No, that's not the way that should go.
Gotcha.
So
you were clarifying.
Yeah, that's all. Krista, do you want to take over the best part?
Yeah, Dad gave me the best part. He gave me the hauntings, so... let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah.
If you stay in suite 1,200?
Just 1,200.
1,200? That's how we say it here. Okay.
Yeah.
If you stay in suite 1200, you may just encounter the ghost of Marilyn Monroe. This room she rented for 2 years, where she lived for 2 years. Often guests will hear her voice or see her in the mirror smiling. She can often be found in the background of other mirrors as well, with a sad smile on her face.
Aww.
Montgomery Clift shows up most often in room 928. He has been known to play the trumpet. Spectrally, apparently, trumpets don't just appear and begin playing, or brush up against some people. Up against people. Then. Some in the room. Wait. In the bed.
People who have laid in the bed in that room.
Oh, okay. Some in the room in the bed have claimed to feel a weight as if a person is laying on top of them. Oh.
Creepy.
Yeah, that is quite creepy. I'm good. I'm not laying on that bed.
Fair.
He also sometimes appears as a shadowy apparition, watching people in the room or pacing the hallway near it. There are 2 male ghosts in the Blossom Ballroom. One who plays the piano and another who attended one of the Academy Award banquets, hoping to win an award, who tends to make guests feel strange and forlorn.
Aww.
The hotel is also a home to a spirit called Caroline, a 5-year-old girl who's searching for her mother. Spirits often play pranks on the guests by locking them out of their own rooms or making stomping sounds nearby hallways. People often hear children playing in parts of the hotel where no children happen to be. Also, there will be calls to the front desk by rooms where no one is,
Where no one is staying.
Where no one is staying. Hold on, I need to find what my spot was. Or strange whispery voices coming from rooms that are inhabited, but the guest claims to not have called the front desk.
Fine.
Photos often contain apparitions that weren't there when the photo was taken.
Nice.
So, to unpack some of this, Marilyn Monroe did not die in the hotel, obviously, but like we've talked about in other shows, it's sort of a common thing for people to sort of come back in a place they felt at home.
Reside in a place that they connected to.
Yeah. And so this was just a place where Marilyn Monroe felt connected to. And Marilyn Monroe is another potential future topic. She's always been just about my favorite actress, and she's also a quite interesting person.
Yeah.
And if she had survived, she would have been, I think, another Mary Pickford. So I don't know that we'll do them the same episode or even necessarily back to back, but girl power, we will almost certainly do both of those people. Also, Montgomery Clift, I guess the guy had a sort of a reputation as a bit of a prankster. So the fact that he lays on the bed with people in it, I'm not sure if he's just laying in bed and doesn't care that there's people there, or he's specifically laying on top of people. I don't know.
Maybe a little of both.
It's a little scary.
Yeah. Also, the thing about, even if you're not in room 1200 and you look in the mirror, behind you, if you're looking in the mirror, it'll look like Marilyn Monroe is behind you, but she's got this sad smile upon her face. And that Doesn't that remind you of something that might happen to a villain in like a Doctor Who episode?
Sure.
And I could not find any more information on Caroline. I looked. So they know it's the ghost of a child.
Right.
But I couldn't find anything on children who had died at the hotel or anything like that. So I don't know why Caroline is there searching for her mom. And then, apparently if you're working the front desk, and this would be creepy as a guy who worked in a hotel, like the phone will ring, they'll answer it, and it tells you on the phone what room it's calling from, but there's no guests in that room. Or they hear a strange whispering voice on the phone, and so they hang up and they call back, and the person they call back, no, we didn't call you. So that's definitely creepy. Now, again, comparing it with the Hotel Cecil, because we kind of have to. I mean, they're like only 8 miles away from one another.
Right.
It's just, there's a little creepiness to this place, but not a lot. Whereas the Cecil, all creepy. Nothing good happening at the Cecil.
Creepy. Right.
So, I mean, like, now, mind you, it might take you an hour to get that 8 miles because you're in LA and, LA traffic.
Right.
Which, as our good friend Dan B. Fierce once said, if you're in LA traffic, the only people who can get around you are the people on motorcycles. And that's so dangerous because, what if someone has to get out and opens their door, sticks a broom handle out, things like that. You just shouldn't do that. I guess overall, I like the Roosevelt. I've been there. I've sat there. I have felt the weight of history sitting upon you, which you can feel in the place. In fact, Jimmy Kimmel on the late night show or whatever late night show he's on, will do a game sometimes where he gets a couple of kids from like a local hostel and does like a game show with them. And whoever wins, instead of staying at the hostel, he'll buy them a room at the hotel, at the Roosevelt Hotel, and they'll spend the rest of their stay at the Roosevelt.
Wow.
So, I almost wish I were like young enough to go to a hostel and get on that show, because that'd be cool. And it's not as an exorbitant place to stay as you might think. I was looking at prices and good $250, $270, depending on where you're looking at. I mean, mind you, that's not the Lombard suite or nothing, but
right.
It's still, for a place with that much history right off the Walk of Fame, I don't think that's a bad price, especially considering that, places around here, 2-star places around here, were charging high 100s to low 200s for rooms around the time of the Miley Cyrus concert. So
You mean Taylor Swift?
Oh yeah, Taylor Swift. Same person, really, aren't they?
Nowhere near.
Anyway, but the point is that that's not really a bad.
No, it's not crazy.
Now, mind you, if something's going on, I'm sure that goes up to like $400 or whatever, and I'm sure that Lombard suite is no longer $5 a night.
Sure. Yeah, no. No, I'm going to say probably not. You are probably right on that one, my love.
But, I just... The place has a ton of history that you can feel while you're there. And I like that about the place.
And at the end of the day, that's not even if you don't have a paranormal experience, and even if there are paranormal happenings there, I think it goes back to the old, stone tape theory, the repetition hauntings, not as much there's actual spirits there as just them still going through the motions, living their life kind of thing.
See, I would disagree with that at least a little bit. I mean, Montgomery Clift, his spirit showing up in 928, which was the room he stayed at while he filmed From Here to Eternity. He's laying on people. I don't think that's residual. I think that's intelligent. But you're right. I think like a lot of the Marilyn Monroe sightings are residual. She had a rough life in some ways. And again, she's someone that I definitely want to add to our list. Definitely a good history episode. But yeah, I think you're right with her. I just think like not all of the guests and definitely not Caroline, who will like call the people from down the hallway and and that would be my fear, is that we'd go to this place and Lexi would say, I've made a new friend. Oh, Lord, Lexi, please, no. Not that friend anyway. So, yeah, that would be my fear. Do you have any final thoughts? I mean, I know you've read a lot. I gave you a couple of long parts, and I gave you the best part because you got to talk about the hauntings. But do you have any thoughts about the hotel or the ghosts in it? Or
honestly, I think they should be happy with. Well, not necessarily you should be happy, but honestly, I'm glad they have the chance to reside in a place that they stayed in during their life.
Fair enough.
And basically have a chance to be happy in their residual place, Whether that be they decided to stay there when they died, or, they just died there and couldn't get out. Sure. Unless, they attached to a person, which ghosts can do.
Oh, yeah. There's, spiritual attachment's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
So, honey, you have any specific final thoughts or things that...
Not really. I think in general it just is a really neat location, and it's got a lot of history.
Yeah, and it's like not every place we talk about in this show is a place that I want to go stay.
Right.
But if we had the money, I would love to go stay at this place.
Sure.
Just, again, if only to feel the history, and it's in a great part of Los Angeles. It's right on the Walk of Fame. It's right across from the Chinese Theater. And there's so much history just all around there.
Right.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger has a Walk of Fame star, and so many people do. And it's just, it would be, So yeah, I would love to go there. I think we'll go on. We'll have to book in advance and go on one of the $200 nights as opposed to one of the $400 nights. And well, we probably won't get the Lombard Gable Suite, but we can do okay. And I would definitely have my picture taken in the hotel pool. I've never been near anything that cost $1 million. I am jumping in the pool and standing on that.
I see.
I would do my best not to get it dirty.
Well, it is underwater.
I'm aware.
So, with our new Patreon comes a new part of the show. We have our
very first?
Well, our very first with the new Patreon we were forced to do, which basically reset us. So we don't have any we didn't have any Patreon supporters for a minute, but we do have one now, and I would like to announce them. Now we only have one. When we have more than one, I just want to break it up and everybody. But the only way we could break this up is everybody get one part of the name.
Sure.
But
he's your friend. You
yeah. Thanks to Dan B. Fierce, who's our first and newest Patreon supporter. Thanks for helping us out there, Dan. Dan's been on the show several times. I would like to get him on the show again. Definitely, I want to get him on our Patreon episodes, which we have had so many people express interest in being on those. Paige begged to be on an episode.
Cool.
I would love to have a talk with you, Paige.
Speaking of Paige, we need to say thank you to her. And
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for listening, first of all. Thanks for getting us in the Good Pod's Top 100 once more. People seem to like the last 2 history episodes that we did. So, and both of them wound up in the top 100. So that's cool.
always exciting for us.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
We do love you guys who listen. We really do. Thanks to Bill Barrett of the Rusty and Dusty podcast. Now, he has his own podcast, but Bill is also the guy who did our theme music. If you need music for a project, Bill's your guy. You can reach him at Bill Barrett, BEHRENDT, at sbcglobal.net. Also, thanks to Paige Elmore of Reverie True Crime. Paige has not only does she have her own Reverie True Crime podcast, which is an amazing podcast in and of itself, but she's also a Canva addict. And so she has gotten together with our own Krista to do some logo art for us. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Paige.
Thanks to Aaron Gnerk of the Big Dumb Fun Show, who continues to promote us locally. Join us next week as we maybe look into the Axeman of New Orleans, or maybe something else. Bye.
Bye.